Priyanka Raut, and I am a career counselor with University Career Services. And I have my co presenter with me, Lauren Herman. She is also one of our career counselors and works mainly with the College of Architecture and Hospitality and Restaurant Management. Dr. Bidding is also could not be here today, but we will make sure that we cover all the parts that she was talking about. And then we are also joined today by our direct executive director, Dr. Thompson. So we would like to welcome Dr. Thompson and all of you for today for this workshop. Let's jump into our agenda of what we will be talking about today. So we will give a brief overview about our services, and then we'll talk about navigating firsts. And we'll spend more time about just discussing that. And from there, we'll talk about career exploration process. What are some things you could be doing while in college to get a good understanding of what you like and what you want? And then how can you feel a part of the campus community? What are some things you can get engaged in or involved in on campus? And then we'll talk about gaining experience, whether in terms of part-time jobs or internships, and being more engaged with career services. So just a quick overview of the services we offer. We are offering full-time virtual services for this fall semester. And so there are a couple of options you can choose from. One is our virtual chats. So if you go to our website, uh.edu/UCS, you should be able to see a Get Help live chat box on the right-hand bottom corner of the page. Those chats are open every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 2 to 4 p.m. This is your opportunity to have a quick 10-minute chat with a career counselor or one of our student peer career advisors, asking questions about anything you may have. And so in terms career related, of course, so whether it's your resume or job search or not sure what to do, what to pick as your major, we will provide you with some quick resources and then recommend that you schedule a follow-up appointment. And that appointment will be a 30-minute career counseling appointment that you can schedule through Cougar Pathway. So Cougar Pathway, we'll talk more about that in the next slide. And then that's also through Cougar Pathway, you can RSVP for our different events, our workshops, career fairs. So definitely make sure that you familiarize yourself with Cougar Pathway. When you log into your Access UH, you should be able to see a red Cougar Pathway symbol. And so click on that. Your profile already exists. All you need to do is update it. So add your contact information, your email, your major, GPA, select email preferences if you would like to receive emails from us. So you will do all of that setup process. And then you will have a resume that you will need to upload for approval. So we recommend that this is something you can definitely get set with during your first semester here. So that way you can receive emails from us and keep updated about all the events and activities we have for you. Also, you can schedule appointments through this platform. So you will be able to see the counselor's availability and schedule your own appointment. The counselor will then approve the appointment. This is also a platform through which you will be able to RSVP for our different events. Since all our events are online, usually we will we ask that you RSVP, and then on the day of the morning of the event, we will send you a Zoom link or a Teams meeting link to log into the platform. So just like you did today for today's workshop. So that was a little bit about our services. If you have any questions as we go along, feel free to type them in the chat box, whether it's about our services or questions relating to the workshop. We will be happy to answer them. So today's workshop, our goal for you by attending this workshop is to gain experience in career planning,
I think our connection froze, so give us just a minute. This is one of the beauties of being online and all being so connected, is we're all kind of figuring this out together. So I know Priyanka lost internet and we'll be back in just a moment. But just to share a little bit about some of those goals, and this kind of directly relates to where we are now, is that we hope that by having some time to just talk about transitions, right? Transitioning to taking classes virtually at the University of Houston and connecting with different resources virtually, this might help you feel more comfortable and confident to reach out for the help that you might need. So with that, I'll go ahead and jump in till she can rejoin us. So let me share my screen. And I'm Lauren Herman, as was mentioned. So glad you all are here with us today. And so, as Priyanka was mentioning, we really want you to get a sense of some things you can be doing to start your career planning now in your first year. So we'll talk a little bit about the process of career planning, what that can look like, and some things to consider. And then we'll also talk about some resources that can help you learn more about yourself and just get more connected and get that support that you might need throughout this transition. And then a big part of getting to know yourself and a big part of career planning is having new experiences. So we'll talk a little bit about how to gain experience and some different opportunities that are available for you from our office, and just different ways to get experience in general that we hope will help you with meeting your career goals. So as we go, please feel free to either raise your hand or type in the chat box, and we'll be sure to make sure that we get to your questions. So with that, we'd like to just get a sense of kind of who's in the room and learn a little bit more about you. So go ahead and take just a couple of minutes to follow this link. So go to srs.campuslabs.com. It'll ask you for your name. It won't show, so you're welcome to either create up a name or use your name, but we won't be sharing that with others. It'll still be anonymous. And then go ahead and add in the Connect ID 1261. So we'll have a really quick few questions to learn about you, and we'll share the results together. So we'll give everybody just a couple minutes to add that, to go to Campus Labs. Let us know if you have any questions about that or have any issues with that, with connecting. So give me just a couple more minutes. So again, you'll go to srs.campuslabs.com, add your name, and then the Connect ID 1261. just be a few questions for us to learn a little bit more about each other. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen so you can take a look at the results. All right, so my lovely colleague is back with us, and I'll let
Thank you,
her.
Lauren. And I am
Welcome
so
back.
sorry, my internet is still not back up. I'm on my phone right now.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and share the answers. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see them because the internet is not there on my laptop. um, Maybe we can just continue with the workshop, and then at the end, if it comes back up, I can hop back onto my computer and share the information.
Sounds good. So thank you all for sharing. So some of the questions that we asked you were your college, the college that you're in. So if you're in exploratory studies, engineering, we asked also if you're living on or off campus, and we also asked, one word to describe how you're feeling about this semester. So in thinking about as we transition into a new time period, there's a lot of different feelings we might have. So in our noon session we had today, I know some of the feelings that came up ranged from excited, nervous, unsure, but there's all these different feelings that we have as we experience new things. And I want to give you all some space to think about these things. So with that, I will share my screen again. So there's a little in, but we'll come back to them towards the end, and hopefully Pranika's internet will get back up and running. And I'm sure we can all relate right to this as part of the transition. So one of the things that we wanted to think about is your first. So first year career planning is what we're talking about today. So as you think about adjusting to the University of Houston, there's a lot of first, and anytime we do something new, we might have some feelings about it. So it could be, again, like we're excited, we're nervous, hopeful, optimistic. There's all different kinds of feelings that we have anytime we try anything new. But knowing that sometimes there might be some uncertainty with that. So especially since if this is your first semester at the University of Houston, just knowing that there may be some similar experiences that you have. So you can think back to, your first semester in high school, and that you've been through this new kind of a new school experience before, but knowing that it still might feel a little bit different, and that's okay. So our hope for today is to acknowledge that it's normal. Whatever feelings you might have are completely normal, and we hope that they won't keep you from still asking for help and getting connected with resources and experiences that are going to help you have a really successful first year and really just successful time at the University of Houston in general. So just know that all of those feelings you might have about, these firsts are completely normal. So some of these things that might be, new experiences as you transition to the University of Houston could be if you're living on campus, this could be your first time living away from your family or being away from home. Or maybe if you are off campus but in an apartment with new people, maybe you're just adjusting to living with just a new kind of living and learning environment. Something else that might be different from high school is just the way your schedule is created, right? So there's not someone telling you to be in class from 8 to 5, so you have a lot more control over your time and when you sign up for your classes, what classes you take, and how you schedule your study time. So a lot of that can feel like an adjustment. With that too, I think we're starting the fourth week of the semester, so you might be getting ready for midterms or final exams. And your first exam at U of H might feel different, right? Or first exam in a class. not knowing what to expect until you have that experience kind of under your belt. Other things could be just meeting, new people in your class, whether it's virtually or in person, depending on how you're taking classes. Going to football games, but just the way that you might, again, be meeting new people and getting connected. These are all a lot of new experiences that you may be having this semester that are really exciting experiences, but again, might just be something new. So we want to think about something that we might have in common in terms of a new experience. So if you think back to your first day of the semester, so it's August 24th, you wake up in the morning and either, opening up your device or you are, going into class, think about how you were feeling in that moment. So were you excited, just kind of unsure of what to expect? Think back to how that felt initially. Think about too if there's anything you would do differently. So going back to that first class, is there anything you would do differently in that class? Or a different way you might want to connect with people in class, or different questions you wish you had asked? And then if there's anything that maybe kept you from, talking to your classmates or reaching out to the professor, or anything that you would do differently, think about, is there something about what I was feeling about this new experience that kept me from doing that, and what's helped you overcome those in the past? So if anyone would like to share an experience of how, or to share how they're feeling, we would love to hear how people are felt with their first class. You can simply just type it in the chat and we'll make sure to share that out with everybody. If you'd like to share, I'll go ahead and give an example just as to warm us all up. So when I think to my first class at a university, it was a 9 a.m. psychology class and there were 60 people, and that felt really different than my 20 or 30 person classes in high school. And I just remember being really nervous about how am I going to study? How am I going to prepare for exams? How am I going to meet other people too? And I'm really looking around at my classmates. And there was one classmate in particular who I could tell was a football player. And I thought, oh, that could be a cool person to get to know. But I was intimidated because they were a football player. And when I look back, that football player was Emmanuel Acho, who some of you may know. He's gone pretty viral with some of his talks around Black Lives Matter, and used to be an NFL player and now is a sports analyst for Fox Sports. And so whenever I see him on the screen, I think, gosh, I should have reached out and asked about, studying together, or just when I think back of what I would do differently, I wish I had reached out to my peers for help and had been more courageous to try to connect with other people, because that was something I was a little intimidated about. So I wanted to give you all a chance to think if there's anything, but we would love to just kind of know how you're feeling about the semester. So feel free to add that to the chat. And Priyanka, if you'll help me share if you see anything in the, any entries in the chat, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If you don't feel like sharing, that's okay. Just always be thinking about this for yourself. So think about, as you're transitioning to the university, how are you feeling? How are things going so far? And what's helped you overcome any kind of firsts in the past? And that kind of gets us to where we are now, which like I said, we're about 4 weeks into the semester. So I think about this as we're kind of in the middle, right? We've already started, we've already had a couple new experiences. We're not yet at the place where we can see the end of the semester, so it's not quite, Thanksgiving or winter break, but we know we're kind of on this ride. So I think about a metaphor of if you've been on like a carnival ride or like a roller coaster ride, there's this moment where you get into your seat, you kind of put the strap in, you're hooked in, and you have a moment where the ride actually begins. And at this point, you're in it, right? Like you're in the roller coaster ride, it's happening. but you're kind of just waiting to see what happens next. And so knowing that we're in the middle, we're in a place where we just, the only course is going forward, we want to think about how can you really get connected with tools and different resources so that you can move forward really confidently and have the support you need as we continue on this ride and journey together this fall. And with that, I'll transition to Priyanka to talk a little bit more about what some of those resources might be.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, should I share my screen or will you continue to click? I'll go ahead and share my screen. Thank you.
Okay, I can click for you. Either way.
Okay, so we really wanted to share today that some of the struggles that we've experienced students have is not knowing where to go for the resources they need. And so one of the things I'll walk you through right now is the current students web resource, which is on University of Houston website. So if you go to the website, and I'm going to share my screen real quickly. Okay, Lauren, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So go to the uh.edu website, then under resources for current, future, and current students, click on current students. This is a page where you can rely on for all types of resources that you're looking for on campus and need help with. You'll find them here, beginning with questions about registration and enrollment. You can find all that information here. Then there is a special tab for financial and emergency aid. So this is also where you will find information on available scholarships and how to apply for them. At this point, I also want to let you all know that you can work with a career counselor in our office to apply to get your resume and a scholarship essay ready. We can help you review your essay, edit it, and same with your resume, so you have the documents that you need in order to apply for these scholarships. Over here, you can also see different calendars. So an academic calendar, a final exam calendar, and also a special calendar for career services. So this is a good place for you to see not just the events at our office, but also our workshops and all our meet and greets, employer events, career fairs. So this is a good place for you to kind of check those out. And then also under academic resources, this is where you will find information about the different majors and minors. This is where you will find academic forms. So if you want to change a major, if you want to do something else, this is where you can look for all of that information. And then Explore is a tab where you'll find information about getting around campus. So the parking map, the campus map, the information about the shuttles, and so on. And then for those of you who live on campus, or if you're thinking about living on campus, there's that information. If you want to eat on campus, you'll get all the updated information here about the meal, what the menu is, and which dining hall is open and the time. And then under student programs, this is where you will find information about areas of interest. So if you want to get involved in a student organization, if you want to engage in a community, this is where you can find all of the links to those type of resources. And finally, under health and safety, here you will find information for campus recreation center, the wellness center, health center, the eye institute, counseling and psychological services. So this is all the resources. And then at the end, you can see over here, it says, can't find what you're looking for? You can chat with us. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to a um, either a chat session, or it can help you pick who you want to chat with. So if it's general information, if it's related to admissions, if it's related to IT, and as we mentioned at the beginning of this session, that we also have a chat online, so you can pick who you want to chat with. And all that information is right here under the current student resources tab. And so with that, I also want to highlight that if you if you, let's say, are struggling with finding help with what classes to pick or not knowing the process of how to do that, anything related to your degree or degree plan or signing up for classes, that needs to be done through an academic advisor. An academic advisor will help you with everything related to your academics or your coursework. So if you go to the University of Houston page and under search, just type Navigate. Navigate is the app that University of Houston uses to help students schedule appointments with their academic advisors. And also this is the URL, uh.edu/provost/navigate. So again, on this website, it explains very well what you can do here. And then also it kind of talks about here about how you can make an advising appointment. So there is a video that walks you through the process. There are also instructions that you can download. And then there are some pictures that kind of show you how to receive your, how to schedule your appointment, your advising appointment. So if you have, it tells you why you should use Navigate. If you have if you have things to do, if you want to make an advising appointment, if you don't want to miss events, if you want to get connected with resources, if you want to resolve barriers in the hold center, so if you have holds on your account, when you're going with your class schedule, make plans for with Major Explorer. So it has a lot of things that you can do. So I would say this is a time to kind of familiarize yourself with the Navigate app as well. So having said that, I would now like to transition to the part about career exploring. Now that you know all these resources exist on campus, let's talk about how we can use these resources to help in your career exploration process. Now, before, as we're exploring or trying to find something, there are always things that we hear from people or we hear from our friends, we read about them somewhere, and we do want to make sure that when you're hearing things or when you're listening things, to first make sure if this is the reality, if this is the fact, or is this something that somebody is just saying based on their own personal experience. So looking at some of these statements that you may or may not have heard, the first one is there's one best suited career for you. So we want to say that this is false, because um, there is we live in a world that's constantly changing. The marketplace is changing. Everything is so dynamic. So with this in mind, we want to make sure that we develop ourselves in a way where our skill set is very flexible, and yet at the same time we're focused on one niche area. So the truth is that the average millennial is estimated to work in 9 different industries. So again, as I said, don't think that there's just one career that's best suited for you. keep your options open and really try to focus on what interests you, what engages you, what is that passion that you have. The second one is you should have your career, your path completely mapped out. Now, obviously, this is false because on an average, a college student changes their major at least 2 times. So, this does not mean that you're undecided. This just means that you're still learning so many things about yourself, what you enjoy and what you don't. So there might be a same destination where two students may want to go, but their paths can look very different. One student may start with one major, stick to that same major, do an internship, and get into that career path. The other student may not be sure what they want to major in, but they do a lot of internships or they are more involved and active, and eventually they figure out, okay, this is what I want to do. So always remember that there is no one set path for you to follow what career you want to go into. And then lastly, you have to find your passion. So find means, again, this is actually a true statement, because without trying out different things, without getting that experience, you will not know what you're enjoying and what you're not. So it's very, very important to get a good understanding of what are your interests, what is your personality like, what are some things that are important to you, what is a skill set that you have. So spend some time kind of exploring that. At the same time, people will tell us, hey, you're so good at math, maybe you should do engineering. But you may be very good at math, but do you really enjoy doing it? Is that something you see yourself using in a career? So, again, having a skill does not mean that that skill can be turned into a career. So, just remember that as you're going through this process, you may hear a lot of things, but to find the fact and do a reality check is your responsibility.
All right. And one thing Priyanka mentioned that I was just thinking about is, oh, we go back a couple,
Sorry,
Priyanka.
yeah.
There we go. Is that there may be, I know of a lot of students that I work with who do know what they want to do when they first come to college, but then after taking a class, change their mind. And so knowing that it takes time of having these experiences, like she said, to know what we like and don't like. If I look back to that first day in my psychology class, I would have never in a million years thought I was going to be a career counselor. So it really took having different experiences throughout my path so far that have kind of gotten me to this point where I know that this is a field I'm really passionate about, but I found this passion over time. So one of the things to think about when thinking about what's important to me and what might I want to do is knowing your values. So when we're not often asked about our values, so I don't think this is an area where I know if you ask me what are your values, it might take me a minute to think about it. But a couple ways to kind of tap into what our values might be and what's important to us is to first think about what jobs have I thought about. So are there jobs in mind? So for example, I hear a lot of students say that they want to be a doctor. When I ask, well, what is it about a doctor that's important to you? And for some people, it's the title or the salary or job stability. Those are all values, right? So thinking about what are the jobs I've thought about and what is it about that job that's important to me? Who do you admire and what is it about what they do that you admire? So again, a lot of times we don't know for ourselves what our values are, but if we look to somebody else and see that they're doing something that we think is really cool, that can tap into our values, right? So I mentioned earlier, I'll go with the same example of Emmanuel Acho. He's doing really, really cool work bringing awareness to Black Lives Matter and has really made a huge career for himself as a sports analyst. And so maybe that's something I admire is community impact or being able to have a really wide reach and influence on people. So by looking to what we admire about other people, that can actually say a lot about what we think is important. So think about these things. You don't have to add them to the chat, but just be thinking to yourself with some of these questions. So what are the jobs I've thought about and why? Who are the people I admire, and what is it about what they do that really resonates with me or kind of sticks out to me? I kind of wanted to just go back for a second too to think about this whole process of career planning, because I see a lot of students who come to career services during orientation and they think, oh, I'll see you career services, I'll see you my senior year or right before I graduate or maybe after I graduate. But really getting some time now to be intentional about planning what you want to do in the future, it's going to help you learn about your values and learn about yourself along the way, so you can be really intentional about your career path. I also think too, classes, we talked earlier about scheduling an appointment with your advisor and thinking about classes for next semester. So the class list is going to be open in a month, which is kind of wild to think about because it feels like we just started and we're already going to be planning for the next semester. So the sooner we can start having different experiences and just learning about ourselves, the more confident we can go forward with making those decisions about our classes and majors and even what our next step might be in our career path. So values is just one piece of that. Another piece of the puzzle, Frank, if you'll go to the next slide, is thinking about what we enjoy. So like Priyanka said, just because you're good at something doesn't necessarily mean you like it, and vice versa. So the reason it's important to enjoy what we do is because if we don't, yeah, we can do it, but we're not going to be nearly as motivated or productive or excited about the work that we're doing. So interests are an important part. So some ways to think about interests you might have could be, what are the classes that you're drawn to? What have been your favorite classes so far, either in high school or even just so far at the university? How do you spend your free time? So if you've got a free weekend or a free afternoon or evening, how do you like to spend it? Are there certain books you like to read or shows you like to watch or places you like to go? And if so, what is it about those things that you like? So let's say you love binging Law and Order. Well, if we think about what it is that you love about Law and Order, maybe you love the mystery or the fact that they're solving a case. And so that might indicate that there's something about solving problems and kind of getting into the, investigating a situation that you might really like. And then we can look for other careers or majors that also have that component of kind of being investigative in nature. Okay, so even just the things that we like to do in our free time can say a lot about our interests and can help us think about majors or careers that we might want to check out that could be a good fit for us. So the next area that we think about is, well, what are our deal breakers? So it's kind of ties into values. But this is a time when I encourage students to get picky. So you've got a time to kind of choose what you want out of a major or career. So think about, what is it that's important to me? Is it, having a certain level of a degree? So for some people, getting a bachelor's or a master's or doctorate degree is really important to them. For some people, salary is really important. So knowing there's going to be a certain level of income or job stability, or getting to travel, right? When we're able to travel a little bit more than we are right now, or living in a certain part of the country. Those are all things that that we can think about as, what's most important to me that I need to be keeping an eye out for different majors or careers. Someone asked a really great question, so thank you for the question. The question is, do we start planning our next semester classes with our advisor this month? So I believe most advisors will be taking appointments starting in October, but you really can meet with your advisor at any point. So if you're already thinking now about classes, you could meet with your advisor now, but it might be more helpful once the class schedule for spring is released, so you kind of know what you're working with. But it's going to come sooner than we think. It might sneak up on us a little bit. Good question. So Priyanka mentioned this earlier as well. So thinking about what are some skills or things that come naturally to me, and what might be some skills that I want to get some more training in or get some more just experience with. So it could be skills like problem solving or working on a team or just writing or getting a chance to lead others. Maybe you want to have a chance to work on a group project or be part of a student organization. And then some others, Priyanka, if you'll hit the next button. Thank you. Some other skills or areas that we know employers look for are things like having cultural competency and being able to see different perspectives. It could also be, again, verbal communication, so public speaking skills or presentation skills, your work ethic, or even being detail oriented. So again, this is time for you to be thinking about for yourself, what are some of these things that come naturally to me? And then you can always meet with a career counselor to talk more about what some of those majors or careers might be where you can really tap into those skills, even just ways you can get more experience to use and build those skills too.
So, if you kind of follow this process along, spending some time exploring your interests, your personality, values, skills, everything will fit together like the pieces of a puzzle. So, we strongly recommend that you start thinking about these things and start working on them right now because it's a process. It's not something that will happen overnight or many students say, can I take the assessment that tells me what I should be doing in my life? Which is not true because the assessment only it's based on how you answer the question. So if you answer the questions honestly, with an open mind, really not under anybody's influence, then it's going to help you narrow down your interests to maybe top three. And so we recommend that the sooner you engage in this process of career exploration, the better it is for you because it's going to help you um, kind of move along and make sure that you're in a major that you enjoy and also have a goal towards the end. So, in addition to focusing on feeling a part of the campus community, I'm sorry, in addition to exploring, we're also going to focus on feeling a part of the campus community.
So one thing we alluded to this a little bit earlier is with getting involved, right? So if we think about how do I, get more experiences to build my skills? How do I get the support that I need? So I think one of the biggest things that we can't emphasize enough is reaching out for help, whether it is with getting a job or, maybe you need help with tutoring for certain classes. But getting involved is going to help you feel more connected to others, to other classmates, to staff like Priyanka and I, so that way we can get you connected with resources that might be helpful for you. So one way to get involved and just gain more experience too is through student organizations. So these could be organizations that are related to your values, how you identify. Maybe they could be related to your major or careers you're thinking about. So there's over 500 student organizations at the University of Houston. And so those are really great ways to get connected with other people who might just have similar interests to you and might be doing similar things. And those organizations also tend to have different events and again, ways to just get more experience too. So great way to get connected to people and to opportunities on or even off campus too. Other ways to start to get involved could be through a part-time job, whether it's on campus or off campus. But again, getting those more and more experiences is really what we're trying to encourage here, to learn about what you like, you don't like, what you feel like you're good at, right? So a lot of times, let's say you even have a job you hate, at least you learn something about yourself from that job, right? So hopefully you don't have a job that you hate. Hopefully there's pieces of it you like, maybe pieces you learn you would prefer not to have as much of in the future. But even just learning that about yourself is going to be so helpful as you continue to move forward and grow and change throughout your career and throughout your time at the University of Houston. Volunteer opportunities are also great ways to learn about ourselves and connect with other people, and again, just get some more experience too. So some of these opportunities for exploration, some of these we talked a little bit about already, but talking to classmates, so through joining organizations, talking to friends, professors, right? So let's say you're taking a geology class and you realize you think it's a pretty cool class. talk to that professor about how they got involved in geology and what the careers look like and what that field looks like. So your professors are great resources for you that can give you a lot more information about different areas you might be thinking about. So are professionals, right? So people who are doing the work, and that's something where Priyanka or I or another career counselor can help get you connected with people who are doing jobs that maybe you've been thinking about and might want to know more about too. So having mentors and just other people in jobs you're thinking about can be so helpful to learn more about what that job is like. There's also some really great online resources we'll talk more about in a minute where you can learn more about careers and majors that are out there. Take an interesting class. I mentioned registration's gonna be opening up. So if there's a class maybe you're taking right now that you love, maybe you want to look for more classes in that department. Or maybe if there's a class you don't love as much, maybe it's a sign to be looking for something different than if it's not what you thought it was going to be. Okay, so take an interesting class. We talked about joining organizations. Other things you can do too are also to attend career fairs. So we have a career fair actually on Wednesday. We'll talk more about in a little bit. You can find out more about it on our web on Cougar Pathway, which is a really great portal to our website. There's also some great information on our website that I'll show you more about in just a little bit. But even just going to a career fair, even if you're not looking for a job, although we recommend looking for jobs too, right, and finding those opportunities to get experience. But even just seeing who's hiring, what kind of positions are they hiring for, what kind of majors do they hire, all of that can just kind of help you think of more ideas and get connected again to opportunities and people and different careers you might be thinking about too. So a lot of opportunities for exploration. Okay. One way is also through our Coog Careers Leadership Program. So this is a great way to get leadership experience and just to get connected. So this is a program where you can think of it as kind of like a certification program where if you attend different workshops and different career events, when you graduate, you will be given a certificate for being part of our Coog Careers Leadership Program. You can track your progress through the Get Involved profile, which is an icon in your Access UH. So that's just another incentive and another way to get engaged and again, attend events on campus or virtually. And you might meet some other people along the way too as you're part of this program, but a really great way to get involved and get engaged on campus.
Okay, so talking about your first year experience, there's a lot of information that's coming along to you, and we're sharing a lot of information right here. But we want to make this process a little bit streamlined for you, so almost like a checklist. So on our website, we have this checklist that Dr. Bidding and one of the career counselors that used to work here, Megan Ekojiram, they created this together. And so it really talks about some things that you could be doing starting from your freshman year, then sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. So let me show you where you can find that checklist on our website. So go to our website, uh.edu/UCS. That should bring you to our website over here. And this is the little chat symbol that I was talking about earlier. So go under students and then click on meet with a career counselor. Oh, I'm sorry, it's under career resources. So go under students and career resources. And here is a whole menu of all the information you will find under the Career Resources tab. So what we are looking at right now is the Career Development Action Plan and Checklist. So if you click on this, it's going to open up the checklist. And it's 2 pages, so the first page, as we saw on the slide, is freshman and sophomore year. So what are these are some things you can use it as a checklist that you can start working on right now. And then your junior and senior year, what are some things that you could be doing? There's a checklist for that right here. So this can, you can just print maybe this first page and stick it in your room or where you can see it every day, just to serve as a reminder that these are some things that you could be doing right now. So obviously we talked about Cougar Pathway, but Focus 2 is a career planning assessment. And as you can see, everything is hyperlinked. So if you want to take that assessment, all you need to do is just click on it and it's going to take you to the part of the website where you can see the instructions to log in. So make sure that you're really reviewing this checklist and kind of walking through each field. If you meet with a career counselor one-on-one, maybe they can also, once you take this assessment, you can review your results together, help kind of narrow down on some top 3 or 4 choices, talk about what you could be doing next. So I strongly recommend that you use this checklist. It is on our website, uh.edu /UCS. Go to the Students tab and Career Resources, and the checklist should be under the Career Development Action Plan section. We also want to show you where, if you are planning to attend any of our events, the information is also right here. So if you go under Students and click on Attend an Event, this is where you should be able to see the workshops that we have, the employer meet and greets. So it's almost like an employer information session, but online. Our special events, we have our graduate school prep week coming up. Career fairs, we have a all majors career fair that's going to be on Wednesday. And then we also have information about our virtual events. So if you look through this page, you will find all the information right here. Also, if you're interested in attending the career fair just to see what it is like, we will be we will be doing a demo today from 3 to 4 actually, and I can go ahead and share the link with you in the chat, or Lauren, if you don't mind sharing the link. You are welcome to attend this demo day because we will walk you through the platform, the Simplicity platform that we will be using to host the career fair on Wednesday. It is the first time for everyone to do a career fair online. So this will be a good opportunity to learn and familiarize yourself with the platform. Also, here you can see a list of all our upcoming workshops. So make sure that, if there is anything else that you might be interested in, to RSVP in Cougar Pathway. I will say that because this is your first year in college and because you're um, not very familiar with all the resources and you may not necessarily have anyone to guide you, the more information you gain, the more resources you learn about, the more helpful it's going to be for you. So if you have time and if you're not doing anything, attend a workshop on resume writing or attend a workshop on, let's say, virtual career fair prep, or just a workshop on how to connect virtually with an industry professional, because all this is going to help add more and more information to what you know. Um, and so here you will also find under students and under career resources, you can also find information about how to write your resume, how to prepare for an interview, how more information on informational interviews. So we haven't talked much about it, but this is a way you can learn about an industry or about a career field by actually talking with somebody who is doing that job. And we have some, information on how to conduct the informational interview, what questions to ask, We also have recorded workshops over here that you can watch. So all these resources are available to you, and you don't have to go anywhere. All you need to do is just browse around. And at the end of the day, if you have any questions, you can always chat with us through the live chat over here.